Okay. Now, before we get into the nasty world of politics, let's talk a little bit about the NFL, shall we? What did you guys think of the game? I thought it was a pretty good game. I thought that the officiating was pretty legit. Uh, it didn't look like anybody was trying to throw the game. It looked like they were playing hard. These two teams represent the best in the National Football League. I think that this game will probably be better than the Super Bowl itself. I'm going to tell you that if the Eagles played like they did yesterday, the Chiefs don't stand a chance. The one thing that the Eagles have that the Chiefs is a very huge weakness for the Chiefs is is Barkley, the running back. I mean, the Chiefs don't handle the running game real well, but the entire offense is geared to setting up Barkley for one of these 60-yard runs. I don't see. I don't know whether it'll even be close. To tell you the truth, I hope it is. I hope it's a really good game. I hope the Chiefs win, but I don't see it happening. You know. And Buffalo fans shouldn't be surprised. Buffalo's been to the Super Bowl 4 times and lost all 4 times. So the fact that they lost in the playoffs shouldn't surprise them that much. It's not that they didn't try. This was not that they didn't throw this game, but they depend too much on one person. Sometimes it's Josh Allen. You heard the announcer say that they want Allen to have the ball at the most critical moments of the game. You got to have somebody else in that team that can come up and do that. You know what I mean? Come up and do something about that. You know, score a touchdown, throw a pass, do something. The defense on the Bills side is very good. Of course, they spend a lot of time on the field, and you watch these guys huff and puff. Even what's his name, Jones from the Chiefs was huffing and puffing there early in the game, and I don't know. If you're exerted, you have to learn to control your body a little better. You know? All right, that's the football game. What do you think is going to happen next? All right. Do you think the Eagles will beat the Chiefs, or do you think the Chiefs will win 3 Super Bowls in a row? I don't know. I honestly, if you match it up, if you look at the matchups on paper, the Eagles should beat the Chiefs. Shouldn't really even be a close game. And the one man that's responsible, that the one thing that the Chiefs can't defend against, and if they do defend against that, somebody else in the Eagle team is going to burn them. But that's Saquon Barkley, the ex-Giant, the one that was cast away pretty much, who's torn up the league running this year, did it in the playoff yesterday. I just don't see them being able to handle him, but we'll see. All right, next on the agenda. I guess you all heard about the Colombia, and I live in Colombia. Scared the shit out of me last night. Still scares the shit out of me. What do you call it? The tariff war that they had for a few minutes there. I'm not worried about the tariffs affecting me anyhow. I can stop. I can just stop buying certain things and buy Colombian products. That's not a problem. As long as I can get Colombia coffee. It's expensive as it is, but I don't think they would raise the price. I think they would actually reduce the price if they had a problem with the U.S. But this is a symptom, not just a Colombian problem. This is a symptom. If you look, Trump is going to Mexico. Then he wants Panama, and now he's coming down here and wants Colombia to kiss the ring. They want all these South America to listen to him. And the problem you have with South America, with Trump, is as volatile as Latinos are considered, Trump's off the wall. He makes decisions based on his temper rather than his brain, which I don't think is that good to begin with. But you know, he's president of the United States. He was able to convince people to vote for a fascist dictator-style government, and this is gonna, you know, this is what you got, and this is what you're gonna have to deal with. I don't think that even Trump knows what he did yesterday. You know, he thinks what he did is, but you know, all that's necessary is for South America and Central America to get together and form a bloc against the United States. Okay? That's all that's necessary to shut Trump up and put him away in one of his little houses. Okay? But I don't think they're capable of it, because they all are a bunch of power-hungry little twerps, you know? Petro just likes to hide in the background. He doesn't really do anything. You never hear of him down here, really, that much. He doesn't do much of anything. The government's pretty much run by Bogota and Medellin. The rest of the little cities have something to say, but not a lot. This is a narco government. It's run by the narcotics cartels. Now, you've understood that Trump wants to go after immigration, but he's not saying he wants to stop the cartels. The cartels control the immigration along the southern border. Okay? I'm only familiar with the Sinaloa cartel because I've seen some of them around here. They don't like people to know who they are or criticize them or anything like that. They're minor enforcement agencies. They come down to make a deal for the drugs and they pretty much leave. They're not that interested in our government down here or what have you. But Trump doesn't know what he's screwing around with. Trump in Colombia doesn't know what's going on either. If Trump is serious about it, if Trump invades Mexico, Colombia is next. He'll go Mexico, Panama, which would be a joke, and then he'll come down to Colombia, which would just be another joke, because this army is not very well trained, doesn't have a lot of really professionalism about it. Neither does Venezuela or any of the other armies down here. They're not capable of fighting on an elite force. So doesn't have to be an American force, an elite force, you know. So I don't know. You know, I think that was a mistake that he that Petro backed down. I think it would have hurt the Colombians for a while. But I think if they were smart, they'd be able to export products to other countries, including China, Russia, some to Africa maybe or something, you know. Because a lot of the Caribbean people are African descendants, so don't know. All right, that takes care of that one. Now, Vance went ahead and did something I don't understand. He's criticizing big tech and the Catholic Church. Now, I don't know how much influence the Catholic Church has in government anymore. I mean, there was a point in time, you know, where most of the police forces in the United States were Irish Catholics. Now I don't know what they are. And I don't really care so long as they enforce the laws equally and properly and all that stuff, you know. But I don't think especially in New York City, you could call a Irish police force anymore. So I don't know what he's bringing the Catholic Church in for, but he's going after big tech. And big tech has too much power. Without big tech, nothing exists in this country. right now, okay? We have very little anything, including this what I'm doing right now. If you're seeing this, if you're watching this video, without big tech, you're not watching this video. It's not going to happen, all right? So it obviously doesn't make any sense for what he's doing. But again, it's you know, some of these Midas touch people and YouTube influencers actually get it right. You know, they I think they do anyhow, when they sit around and say that Trump is just making noise. I mean, yeah, he's causing a lot of harm, but he's doing things to get people to look at him differently. And he's still doing, watch my left hand while I pick your pocket with my right hand, or watch my right hand while I pick your pocket with my left hand. He's still doing that sort of thing. Trump is very dangerous, but so is Musk. Musk seems to be concentrating on Europe right now, seeing how badly he can piss them off, you know. Speaking of Europe and what have you, do you remember, those of you that are my age, remember the 50s and the 60s when we were considered, especially right after World War II, this was more the 50s, we were considered the ugly American. The ugly American didn't come because of we looked funny or something. It came because of an attitude we had. We would go to France or something, like country like that, and we would think that we deserved to have our rings kissed because we saved their country. First of all, most of the people that went and did that never fought in the war. Secondly, the French fought by our sides. A lot of civilians died fighting on our side. So I don't think that attitude that we had back then was right. But now Trump sort of has the same attitude, you know. You guys need to kiss my ring because we're the most powerful nation in the world. I keep hearing that, and I keep wondering, what happens if China pulls a plug on everything they got invested in the United States? You know, what happens if Russia stops whatever influence it has in the United States? What happens if North Korea decides that they really want to go to war? Who are we going to have help defend us, you know? China can sit back and talk North Korea into doing their dirty work in Taiwan. North Korea's got so many soldiers, they're actually giving some to Russia. They have a huge army. And you're doing it. Do you take 10,000 of those guys? All 10,000 die. You're doing North Korea a favor. Okay? North Korea doesn't understand population control. They've had trouble with feeding people there for a long, long time. And then there's a way to deal with North Korea, to make them an ally rather than an adversary, and that's to feed their people. But we're not really into helping them, you know. And Trump thinks that he's smarter than little Kim because Kim doesn't really come across as a genius. Well, the people behind Kim are smart. The North Korean government has been an influencer for since the war. They are they are influencers. They don't actually do things. They get set in motion things that destroy governments and whatnot. That's how you do it. I mean, and they're not intimidators. They sit in the background and then they do certain things that people don't understand and say, why are they doing that? They're influencers. They're like the guy they're like me on trying to influence people, which I'm really not trying to do, people. I hope you understand that. I'm trying to, what I'm really trying to do is just inform you and give you options and opinions, but I guess I'm called an influencer. I got 8 people I influence. That's great, you know. But this stuff with This is what it is. It's like, I don't even think it's a chess game. I think it's a game of Go, which you have to spend a lot of time studying to be able to understand it. But it appears that there's a lot of movement all around. And you say, well, people are choosing sides. Well, yes and no. They're just, right now people are trying to figure everything out, you know. Trump is doing his blitzkrieg stuff. Instead of using military, he's using money. And, you know, he thinks these countries are going to let everything, you know, let me tell you something. The people that are benefiting by the deportations, if they are criminals that are being deported, are making the I don't know what you want to call it, the traffickers of human traffickers and what they call the coyotes in Mexico, very rich, because these people are all going to go back. If they're criminals, they're going back. If they're ordinary citizens, they may not have the money to go back. Because you remember, you're not allowed to take anything with you. You know, your furnishings and everything. You're lucky you could take your kids with you when you're deported. Trump is a vicious, unfeeling human being. He only cares about himself. And this is all, you know, benefit him. He wants to control North, Central, and South America. He'll leave Europe to somebody else. He'll leave Asia to somebody else, and then we'll see what happens with places like, you know, what status Korea has and that. That's why I said you should really watch the movie Rollerball. And everybody says, what are you, nuts? You get all your information from movies? Not information. I formulate opinions because I see similarities between what's going on now and what happens in that movie. It's just like with artificial intelligence. I'm looking at things now, and I'm studying them, and I'm saying this is similar to what happened in the movie, the Terminator. What was the first one? Colossus, about a giant computer taking over the world. You have to look at this stuff to understand what I'm talking about. You know, I'm not a genius. I'm just got a good memory for things. All right, do me a favor. Hit the like button. Hit the subscribe button. We got 2 weeks to talk about the Super Bowl, but let's just, you know, take it slowly. Don't get excited. You know, I want to, if you really like to, you know, do something, when you subscribe, comment on the Super Bowl. What do you think is going to happen? You know, let's have some opinions here. Let's get going, all right? And I'm still figuring out what I'm going to do once the Super Bowl is over about this platform, if I'm going to go live. And I wish I had the money and the expertise to do a podcast, because I'd like to be able to talk to some of you people. You know, I'm not a fast typer, so you'd have to be patient with me, but on chat on my videos. But, you know, it would be nice to hear from you guys. Okay, that's it. Subscribe, like, comment. I'll talk to you tomorrow.